Welcome to the Bell and Pollock Legal Show. I'm Gary Bell of the law firm of Bell and Pollock, and today we're talking about hit and run accidents. One of the most worst kind of accidents you can have. The driver hits, the driver leaves, the driver injures somebody, property damage. What do you do? What do you do at the scene? What do you do with the police? What do you do for your injuries? How do you prove this? Where do you file a claim? How do you protect yourself? Well, we're going to be discussing that today. You know, we do these podcasts each week, and we do it for you. We do it to educate you and teach you and train you about different injury subjects each week. Our law firm is Bell and Pollock. We're conveniently located at I-25 in Orchard. You can call us. You can come in for a free initial consultation. Our telephone number is 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. Our website is championsofthepeople.com. And by the way, we got several features on our website, and it's an information-loaded website. But one of the features is called Meeting by Accident. Meeting by Accident, and it gives you the answers to the most commonly asked questions people ask when they're involved in accidents. So it's pretty cool. Go to championsofthepeople.com. All of it's free. You can listen to these podcasts. Just click on Bell and Pollock on the radio, and it'll take you to all of our podcasts. They're all free. You can play them. You can download them. You can keep them. You can listen to them again and again. Okay, hit and run. You know, our usual example is a motor vehicle accident. You've got two parties, the typical example that we use here in this show, and that you've got the innocent victim, the one that's injured, and then you got the at-fault party that did something wrong, ran a red light, speeding, drunk, or all of the above, or more, and then they cause an accident and they're at fault. In this instance, we've got a hit and run. So you got a collision, and we're going to start with two vehicles, but what if you have three vehicles? What if you have four vehicles? What if you have five vehicles? What if the at-fault party hits, causes the accident, and runs? What if they're partially at fault, wholly at fault, 100% at fault? We're going to get the answers to you today. So it's going to be a good show, and we're lined up and ready to go. Okay, so hit and run. In the typical example, you've got two cars. You've got an at-fault driver. They have a collision. The at-fault driver decides, well, I'm just not going to stick around, think I'm going to leave, and they go. And there's a variety of ways this can happen, so you got to be careful. Sometimes you just leave the scene. Sometimes they say, well, let's pull our cars over to the side, or pull it into a parking lot, or pull it into a gas station parking lot, and they leave. And so you got to be very careful. So what do you have? The first thing that you can do, almost every phone, if not every phone, has a camera and a video, but at least you can get some still pictures. And so you're going to want to do this if you have presence of mind. Sometimes people are so shook up that they can't figure out to do this, so you maybe need a checklist. And also, we have a free accident assistance packet in our office. All you have to do is call 303-795-5900. We'll send you a free accident assistance package. If you want it, it goes in your glove box. It gives you a checklist of what to do and some of the things that we're talking about right now. But in a hit-and-run situation, even before you know it's a hit-and-run, what are you going to do? You're going to take pictures of the car. You're going to take pictures of the other people. You know, sometimes we have people come in our office and say the other people switched drivers. Well, we suspect there's a drunk driving incident. They switched drivers. Well, you can take a picture of that. You can take a video of that. But minimum, the hardest thing to do in these hit-and-run accidents is prove to the insurance company you were in an accident, somebody else was at fault. I'm going to tell you how to do that today. And that you've got to make the claim for the claim, uninsured motorist claim, with your own car insurance company. I'm going to cover that today as well, so we got a lot to talk about. But if you have pictures of the other car, probably the police can trace it down. If you got the license plate, probably they can find it. I mean, the license plate's a no-brainer, so get it. I mean, I had a client come in the last 2 weeks. They had perfect pictures of the license plates of the other car. Perfect. And so that's what you need, because you don't know if the driver's going to drive away. I'm sure you can describe the car. Maybe you can describe the driver. But if the driver just drives away at the scene, if you've got time, if you've got presence of mind, if it's safe to do so, then take pictures of the other car and see if you can get a picture of the license plate. That might solve the whole problem. Let's say you do that. Let's say they run down the car. Let's say the person has no insurance. Happens all the time. 25% of the drivers in Colorado have no insurance. And so you need to listen to our podcast on underinsured motorist coverage and uninsured motorist coverage, but they have no insurance. So that's typical. That's tantamount. That's equal to, equivalent to A hit and run. Sure, you found the driver. Sure, you know who they are. Sure, they're at fault. Sure, they're going to be prosecuted for leaving the scene of an accident, leaving an injured person, and leaving the scene of the accident, and a hit and run. But still, you need to be paid in civil damages for your damages, injuries, and losses. And you need to be paid compensatory damages. So you got the picture, but you've got a situation where they have no insurance, so it's tantamount to a hit and run. You make a claim with the coverage of your own insurance company. That's why it's so important to have those limits as high as possible. That's why you're going to go call today to your insurance company and raise your uninsured motorist, and UIM, underinsured motorist, coverage limits as high as possible. I mean, I have $1 million of coverage. That's how I feel about it. I do not want to get in an accident. I do not want to be hurt. And I do not want to hear the other driver say, I'm sorry. You know, I was canceled my insurance. I don't have any insurance. I'm sorry. Or just hit and run. All right, so back to hit and run. So they leave the scene of the accident. You can't locate them. You can't trace them down. You can't run them down. You don't know who they are. A lot of times this happens at night. It's dark. It's hard to see. It's hard to take a picture. You can't get the picture, and they're gone. And there you are. So there's going to be some rules I'm going to give you, but the first one is call the police. Even if you're the only one sitting there. Sure, you can pull your car off to a safe place, but call the police. There's going to be some debris in the street. You're going to take a picture of the debris when it's safe to do so. Why are you going to do that? Why are we going to do this? Because we're going to prove to the insurance company this accident occurred. We're going to prove to the police this accident occurred. And I'll guarantee you that if you have a hit and run and you leave the scene and you don't call the police, it is so hard to prove this to the insurance company, because the first question they ask you is, well, you know, did you call the police? Is there a traffic accident report? Well, no, I didn't. Well, you're going to have a harder time proving your case, if not impossible, with the insurance company. And that's where you want to get paid. That's where you need to get paid. That's where you deserve to get paid. That's what the insurance is for. You pay the premium for the coverage. You know, when they deny the claim, that's a whole different area of bad faith insurance practices, which we do in our law firm, but that's a whole different area. We've done podcasts and shows on that before. So you want to call the police. I mean, if they're going to say, is it somebody hurt? Whatever the truth is, you tell them. If you have to wait there 1 hour, 2 hours, you do it. You make sure they come, and you take pictures of the debris and take pictures of the surrounding scene. If it's an intersection, take pictures of the intersection. Take pictures of the street where the person left. They went down the street. They went north, south, whatever. They went down this street right here. Here's the debris. Here's the damage to my car. Take pictures of the damage to your car. So you want to do these things to document there was an accident, because you're going to be questioned later. Was there really an accident? Well, of course there was. I mean, my car's damaged, I know, but that could have happened in a variety of different ways. No, here was a hit and run accident. I called the police. The police came. They made a police report. Get your best description of the car. I mean, you know, sometimes even if it's dark, you know, sometimes if it's a truck, a van, a passenger sedan, whatever, you know that. So you're going to give this to the police. And if you got pictures of them fleeing, then that's even better. But you're going to call the police. You're not going to leave till the police come there. You're not going to say, well, I'll talk to the police later. You're not going to say, well, you know, I'll just file an accident report or a counter report in 10 days. You're not going to do those things. You're going to call the police. That's what this is all about. You know, and later in the show, we're going to talk about some multiple car accidents. It's a little bit different rule there also. What to do at the scene, how to preserve the scene. I've given you a couple of clues already, but we got a break coming up. You're listening to the Bell and Pollock Legal Show. I'm Gary Bell. My partner is Brad Pollock. Our law firm is Bell and Pollock. We've been in business representing injured victims for over 25 years. If you come to see us, there's a free initial consultation, a free legal game plan. You'll understand all of your rights. You'll understand what the insurance company is going to do to try to defeat you and beat you and reduce your claim, and they will. Don't think they won't. They will. So this is all free that we give to you in our first free initial consultation. Our telephone number, 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. Or go to our website, championsofthepeople.com. As I stated, we've been representing injured victims for over 25 years. We are Colorado's premier injury law firm, and we are your champions of the people. We'll be right back.
Ready for an extraordinary lunch? As fast or as slow as you want it? With all fresh ingredients? Caitlin's Restaurant has it all. Express lunches that won't keep you waiting. Or if you prefer, lunch served in that old-fashioned homemade style. All made fresh on the spot. Whether it's a fresh-made sandwich with homemade chips, quesadilla loaded with cheddar or jack cheeses, or scratch-made soups, you'll find everything you love at Caitlin's. Caitlin's is located on Mississippi just east of Colorado Boulevard next to Bookies. How about green chili chicken stew? Think about a variety of fresh-made sandwiches or 11 different kinds of burgers made to order with 1/2 pound of the finest USDA choice lean ground beef. You might favor a homemade New Mexican recipe with carne adobada burritos, chicken enchiladas, carnitas burritos, served with hash browns, special recipe beans, cheeses with guacamole, and your choice of homemade red or green chili sauces. For those who prefer the lighter side, there are fresh made salads and lighter fares, sure to delight. Try Caitlin's for lunch or breakfast on Mississippi just east of Colorado Boulevard next to Bookies. Call 303-798-6600. You'll love it every bite of the way.
Let's talk about insurance companies that don't pay benefits. Monies that should be paid to you, the insured, like payment for medical treatment, for medical bills. As my military commander used to say, listen up. If you have a med pay policy with your car insurance company and they refuse to pay your medical bills from a car crash, you may be entitled to compensation. If you've been injured in a car crash by a driver who had no insurance and your own car insurance company won't pay you, you may be entitled to compensation. Your own car insurance company owes special duties to you. They cannot just arbitrarily refuse to pay your insurance benefits. I'm Gary Bell of the law firm of Bell & Pollock. Bell & Pollock has years of experience in dealing with insurance companies that improperly refuse to pay. Bell & Pollock are the champions of the people. You can find us at bellpollock.com or championsofthepeople.com. You can also find Bell & Pollock at Facebook, or you can call us at 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. One call, that's all. Good morning. Welcome back to the Bell & Pollock Legal Show. I'm Gary Bell of the law firm of Bell & Pollock. We are injury attorneys. We are here to help you. You know, by the way, we also do a live show on Saturday mornings, every Saturday at 7 a.m. It's on the AM dial, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's 6:30 KHOW. And you can call us on any subject. These shows that you're listening to here on Sunday are injury shows covering injury subjects, and we're glad to do it. That's what we do. We are injury attorneys. However, the show on Saturday, we help people, and they call in, and it's free to call in, and we cover any subject, any legal subject, not just injury subjects on the Saturday show. So you can do that. It's KHOW, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's on the AM dial. All right, back to our hit and run. That's our example today. That's the situation. This is very serious, especially if you've been hurt, especially as most people do. They wake up the next morning, they think at the scene of the accident they're not really hurt, or just hurt a little bit, or it'll just all go away. And then you wake up the next morning. Some people describe it to me. They can't get out of bed. They can barely get out of bed. They can't go to work. They can't concentrate. They hit their head, and on and on and on. So that's why it's important on a hit and run that you develop and do the right things at the scene before this progresses further. So you've got the hit and run. I told you right before the break to call the police. I don't care if you have to wait there 2 hours. You're going to call the police. They're going to respond, and you're going to make this report. And they're going to see the debris. They're going to see the condition of your car. You know, in those traffic accident reports, they mark down whether your car was damaged, the area of the damage on the car. You know, front right fender, right rear quadrant. So there's proof right there that you were in an accident. You've got pictures of the debris. I covered that in the first part of the show. Now, if there were any witnesses to this, that's obviously, we all know witnesses are important, but think of it like this. Not the typical witness. Yes, if you have an eyewitness, that's perfect. Yes, if you have an eyewitness that I saw this was a red truck. It looked like a 1993 Ford, and it went north and left, and I got the first two numbers of the license plate. Perfect. You've got an eyewitness, but here's what you do with the eyewitness. Make sure you know how to contact that eyewitness. I can't tell you how many people come into me and say, well, yeah, there was a witness. I talked to the witness, but I don't know who they are. They left. I didn't give a card. They didn't give me a card. They didn't give me the information. I didn't take down their name. I didn't take down their phone number. You've got to do these things. You've got to have presence of mind. And by the way, I mentioned earlier, we have a free accident assistance package you put in your glove box. It carries all your insurance papers, your registration, and it has a checklist of what you need to do in different circumstances when you're injured in a car accident. So you can use that as a checklist. And it has a place where you can write down a form that you can write down witnesses' names, addresses, phone numbers. Critical. More than critical. You have to prove the accident. All right, so then what you have to do is if there's an eyewitness, think of it again like this. Maybe there's not an eyewitness to the accident because some people say, well, you know, I didn't see the accident. I heard it, and then I turned around. Well, okay, so there's no technical eyewitness to the accident, how the accident occurred, but there is a witness or witnesses to the accident. And if the car leaves or the truck leaves or the van leaves and there's a legitimate hit and run, then they don't necessarily need to witness the accident. They need to witness and make a statement about the car or the van or the truck that left. Make sense? Of course. So anybody that's around. I mean, and if you have an intersection accident, sometimes you say, well, let's pull over into the parking lot of the gas station. Well, does anybody in the gas station see this? Or do they see it after the fact? Do they see the car leave? You know, even if they just saw the car leave and they say, well, you know, I can't really identify the car. I couldn't see the color. It was a little bit dark, but I saw him leave. Wow. There you go. That's positive proof you had an accident with an uninsured, quote, hit and run, end quote, driver. Because when they're hit and run, they're basically uninsured. And you're going to make an uninsured motorist claim with your own car insurance policy. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to cover that coming up in the show. So, witnesses are important, but in this particular situation, hit and run situation, witnesses can be after the fact because they see them leave. And sometimes you get a description, a partial description. It doesn't matter. You've got a description. You got proof of the fact that this all happened, that this accident happened. I mean, and you say to me, you're saying, well, Gary, this just sounds elementary. It sounds common. I mean, nobody would fight that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And then you find yourself in an attorney's office going, well, my insurance company won't pay me. I didn't know. And yeah, so now you know. And they are going to fight you. And they're going to say, well, how do we know that an accident occurred? And I'm telling you how to prove it to them. Because you're going to have to go through the hoops, especially if you've been injured. If you want to get paid compensation under your own uninsured motorist provision coverage of your own car insurance policy. That's how this works. And you say, well, sometimes can I have an umbrella policy? Sure, but we've covered what you got to do to make sure umbrella policies cover the situation. Okay, so now you have the hit and run. You've looked for witnesses. You see if you can find any witnesses. The police are called. They come. Those are very, very important things. Now let's talk about what you do next. Well, obviously, you're going to go get treatment if you've been injured. Maybe you need the emergency room. Maybe you don't. Some people say, well, I'm not going to go to the emergency room. I'm just going to go home. I'm just going to take care of myself. And they wake up and they can't get out of bed. They can't walk hardly. They're so sore they can't bend over, etc. Then they go to the doctor. That's still okay. I mean, there's no rule of law that says you have to go to the emergency room, although insurance companies always ask that question. Well, did you go to the emergency room? Well, why not? Did you go by ambulance? Well, why not? You know, by the time you get through the emergency room, it might be $10,000. But if you're legitimately hurt, you better go to the emergency room. You better forget about the money side of it for a second and care about yourself. So you're going to go file a claim with your own car insurance company. And you say, how can that be possible? I don't want to file a claim. Well, that's the only place you've got left to go. And that's why we preach time and time and time again. We preach it. You must go raise your limits, your uninsured motorist limits, and UIM, underinsured motorist limits, to the highest limits you can possibly buy. Today, right now. Call up your insurance company. Whenever they're open, call them and raise your limits. You'd be surprised how cheap it is. You'd be surprised how you can get $500,000 coverage or $300,000 or $750,000 of coverage for not much money. Then, if you're hit in the hit and run, or if you're hit by a driver that does not have enough insurance, that's an underinsured motorist coverage issue. So both. But today we're talking about hit and run, so that's an uninsured motorist issue. And so when you're in our office and when you say you were hit by a hit and run, yes, you did call the police. Yes, you've got an accident report. Yes, you've got pictures. Yes, you've got pictures of the debris, and you got pictures of the intersection. And he or she drove south. You got pictures of the area where they drove. And then you say, well, what do I do? And then we're gonna ask you, well, do you have your own insurance? Yes, I do. Do you have uninsured motorist coverage, coverage? Well, yes, I think so. Well, how much? Some people have the minimum of $25,000. Your medical bills are $40,000. That's upside down to begin with. There's a way to handle that situation, and you can call us and come in and do it. However, it's harder. Sometimes it's impossible. Sometimes it's manageable, but that's why you need experienced attorneys. But you don't need an attorney. You don't need an attorney to go call your insurance company right now and say, and just get the bid, get the quote. I'd like to know what it's cost for $250,000 of coverage, $500,000, $1 million. What's the highest amount you sell to me? What's the highest amount this company sells in coverage? And usually they'll tell you, but they'll usually say, well, you've got to raise your liability limits to match that. Okay, ready to go. Do it. Give me the quote. Because when you're sitting in our office in a hit-and-run accident, we say, well, okay, let's look at your coverage, and you say, well, I rejected that. I don't have any. But I'm really hurt. I can't work. I can't even go back to my job. I'm a computer person. I can't type. I can't use my hands. I can't even concentrate. I think I've suffered a head injury, a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury. The answer is you have nowhere to go. The answer is you have no insurance, car insurance to collect from. You might have some disability policies that you can go after, but for car insurance and for your damages, injuries, and losses, pretty much out of luck. And that's hard to swallow. There are other ways that you can sometimes add and stack coverages within the household, but I'm not going into that today. I'm just giving you the plain simple, plain vanilla example of there's a hit and run and you don't have insurance. Do you see how devastating this can be to your life? Do you see how devastating this can be to turning this whole thing upside down? Well, you need to understand this. So you file the claim with your own car insurance company. They're going to want to know if you were in an accident. They're going to want to know, well, do you have any proof that you were in an accident? Of course you do. Of course you do, because you've taken the pictures, you called the police, you got the accident report. All right, so we're going to have a break coming up, but right after the break, I'm going to cover the fact of, your specific damages, what the law calls categories of damages, and what you can go after when you prosecute this claim. You're listening to the Bell and Pollock Legal Show. I'm Gary Bell of the law firm of Bell and Pollock. My partner's Brad Pollock. He's not here today. We do the show every week to help you, to educate you, to teach you about a different injury subject. And if you got a subject you'd like for us to cover, all you got to do is ask, email, call, and we'll be glad to consider it and see if we can get it on the air. Our telephone number, 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. Our website is championsofthepeople.com. Simple as that. And also you can go there and look at Meeting by Accident on our website. Click on Meeting by Accident, and you'll get the answers to the most commonly asked questions people ask when they're involved in accidents. We are Bell and Pollock. We are Colorado's premier injury law firm, and we are your champions of the people.
Ready for an extraordinary lunch? As fast or as slow as you want it? With all fresh ingredients? Caitlin's Restaurant has it all. Express lunches that won't keep you waiting. Or, if you prefer, lunch served in that old-fashioned homemade style. All made fresh on the spot. Whether it's a fresh-made sandwich with homemade chips, quesadilla loaded with cheddar or jack cheeses, or scratch-made soups, you'll find everything you love at Caitlin's. Caitlin's is located on Mississippi just east of Colorado Boulevard next to Bookies. How about green chili chicken stew? Think about a variety of fresh-made sandwiches or 11 7 different kinds of burgers made to order with 1/2 pound of the finest USDA choice lean ground beef. You might favor a homemade New Mexican recipe with carne adobada burritos, chicken enchiladas, carnitas burritos, served with hash brown special recipe beans, cheeses with guacamole, and your choice of homemade red or green chili sauces. For those who prefer the lighter side, there are fresh made salads and lighter fares, sure to delight. Try Caitlin's for lunch or breakfast on Mississippi, just east of Colorado Boulevard next to Bookies. Call 303-798-6600. You'll love it every bite of the way.
Let's talk about insurance companies that don't pay benefits. Monies that should be paid to you, the insured, like payment for medical treatment, for medical bills. As my military commander used to say, listen up. If you have a med pay policy with your car insurance company and they refuse to pay your medical bills from a car crash, you may be entitled to compensation. If you've been injured in a car crash by a driver who had no insurance and your own car insurance company won't pay you, you may be entitled to compensation. Your own car insurance company owes special duties to you. They cannot just arbitrarily refuse to pay your insurance benefits. I'm Gary Bell of the law firm of Bell & Pollock. Bell & Pollock has years of experience in dealing with insurance companies that improperly refuse to pay. Bell & Pollock are the champions of the people. You can find us at bellpollock.com or championsofthepeople.com. You can also find Bell & Pollock at Facebook, or you can call us at 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. One call, that's all. Good morning. Welcome back to the Bell and Pollock Legal Show, the only show of its kind. And don't forget our live Saturday morning show, 7 o'clock in the morning. You can call us on any legal subject you like. That's on the AM dial, 630 KHOW. Call us on any legal subject you like. It's a live show. We'll be glad to do it. We help people every week, and we've been doing this for years. We do it all to help you. Okay, hit and run. What are we going to do? Hit and run. A basically notorious kind of accident because the people don't even care about the property damage. They don't care about you. They don't care about the law. They just want to get out of there. And if they do get out of there, then you file a UM claim, uninsured motorist claim, with your own car insurance company. Categories of damages are your medical bills. You see, a lot of people don't understand this. You see, when you are in a hit and run and you file a UM claim, your car insurance company becomes, in part, your adversary. They don't want to pay you. That's a subject of a whole different show, and we've done a show on that. But they don't want to pay you. So for your categories of damages, they're required to pay you for your medical bills. They're required to pay you for your physical injuries. They're required to pay you for pain and suffering. And they're never going to tell you all this. We'll tell you. They're required to pay you for out-of-pocket expenses. They're required to pay you for economic losses. And they're required to pay you for any change in your quality of life. It's called loss of ability to enjoy life after the accident, the same as you did before the collision. These are the categories of damages. It does take work to develop these categories of damages. And if you want us to help you, we'll be glad to do so. Our telephone number, 303-795-5900. That's 795-5900. Or go to our website, championsofthepeople.com. You can email us. You can come in for a free initial consultation, and we will help you prove these categories of damages. We'll help you prosecute your hit-and-run claim or any injury claim. We'll help you. We'll do it, and we do it every week, and we're glad to do it. So those are the categories of damages. That's what you need to develop, and you can't just present them in a haphazard, rapid fashion and expect to come out okay. So give us a call, Bell & Pollock. I'm Gary Bell, 303-795-5900, 795-5900, or championsofthepeople.com. You're listening to the Bell & Pollock Legal Show, the only show of its kind. We are Colorado's premier injury law firm, and we are your champions of the people.